Hello, hello. Welcome to Flower Hour. You're joined here for another episode with another All African Colors contestant, Moshida Khalifa. Most importantly, how are you doing today?
Hi,
How
I'm
are you?
good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all good. How's the day been? Have you been enjoying what's left of the sunshine, but it's dark outside already?
Sunshine.
I suppose it's sunshine in my head.
Mm, good. That's good. I mean, it's been a good day. It's been a chill Friday.
Hmm.
Um, a chill Friday. So I'm happy with that. It's been a very busy week for me at work and things like that. So yeah, I've had a good Friday so far, and now I'm here with you. So
You're
it
getting,
gets better.
you're getting.
Gets
Oh,
better.
see, listen, that is energy I'm trying to receive right there. That's high vibrations. Lovely compliment. I'll take that. I'll take that. Listen, so my first question, I ask a lot of people this is, but tell me who you are. If someone was to describe you in 3 words, how would they describe Moshida?
Hmm. Me in 3 words.
Yeah.
I think the first thing people would say is vegan.
Okay.
I think they would say that I'm funny. I think I think I'm funny. Um, I think the last thing you would say about me, I'm a force. I'm a big force.
Okay.
So
A
yeah,
big force to be reckoned
I'm
with.
I'm a big force to be reckoned with.
So people can't take advantage out of you.
They can't. They can't, and I don't really attract people that do anyway.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't really have people in my life who are like that.
Hmm.
My friends are really, I love my circle. So I'm grateful for that. But I am not a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I'm only 5'2". I'm only 5'2", but my personality is a 6'7" basketball player.
Damn.
That's my personality.
That is a big personality.
Yeah.
But that's good. It's good. You stand up for yourself and you stand true to who you are. And from the minute we spoke, I can tell you're a strong person. You know who you are. You're assured of who you are. And I think that's something we don't typically see in society. But then that leads me to have to ask you, why are you so assured of yourself? How did you get to that place?
How am I so sure of myself? Well, you kind of have to be.
Hmm.
Um, the world is big, and it has evil in it. There's evil in the world. There's a lot of toxicity in the world. I
Mm.
hate that word, but there's a lot of bad things in the world. So you have to be sure of yourself. You have to be sure of what do you want to do. Who do you want to listen to? Who do you want in your head? Like when you're happy, when you're sad, like who do you want to be around? Because that makes the rest of your life, right?
Absolutely.
So you kind of have to be sure, because the way I see it, it's like if you're not sure of who you are and you go along with someone else's idea of life or choice, one day the universe is going to break that rhythm, and it's going to show you who you really are. And you don't want to be 24 and then all of a sudden you blink and you're 35 and you're having a midlife crisis because you just realize that you've been missing out on who you are because you've been listening to other things or other people that are not on your level or that don't vibrate with you. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. You have to, and I'm an overthinker naturally. So anything I'm about to do, I go through all the possibilities in my head regarding that thing. So I just have to be sure. It's like yes, sometimes go with the flow, but not with everything. You know.
Okay. And then with applying for all the competition, what inspired you to apply for the competition?
So when I was younger, I did beauty contests. I used to do beauty contests, and it was fun. And I won a few of them, so it kind of made me feel good. You know. So I used to do a few contests, and I just had the best time. And then my friend, who was Miss Gibraltar, um, we were talking about competition, like beauty contests and pageants and things like that. And she was like, you should go for it because it's been a long time and you're older, you're, you know, you've got so much more. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should. And then we were talking about it, and then I just saw it on, like, on my, you know, on my browser. I just saw all of this. I thought, let me have a bit of a Google. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I could totally, you know, envision myself. And I did. I thought, let me just send a message to somebody. And I did. And then I got a phone call a few days later.
Yeah.
And that's where it just started from.
And
so I was like, all right, well, I'm here now.
And what has it been like so far in the competition? Because I know one of your heats are probably the most diverse ever. And typically with Miss England, we don't think about people of color in regards to Miss England. What has it been like being in such a diverse heat?
You know, the girls in my heat are freaking awesome. They're awesome. Like I got a girl from Sierra Leone. I've got a few Jamaican girls, and then you know, one of the girls she's Indian, and then I'm Bengali. I'm Asian as well. So it's just such a big, diverse group, and it's very colorful. And we have grown so close, and they're like my sisters. You know, we have a group chat, and we just post stuff, and you know, like, when we're doing our vocal sessions or our catwalks, we'll come back and be like, oh, you know, we'll give each other feedback. And anytime I've had like ups and downs, as you do with compositions like this, they've been there for me. And that, I can't compare that to anything else. Like they've been a rock. We've been a rock to each other. So I love that aspect of the competition. And our heat is the best.
I suppose that sense of unity has been so important for you, you know, especially with the world. Everyone's dealing with COVID, and lockdown has really affected people. So you've got that support group. You're part of a really big competition, irrespective if you win or not, you're going to be a champion regardless, probably in your eyes and other people's eyes, right? So just when you think about support, how important is it for people in the world right now to be able to have that support bubble?
So in this moment of time, I feel like in the UK, in London, people are very social. We're always out on a night out, having a pint, whatever you may call it, right? Having a picnic, whatever, right? So to go from that and to have a busy, bustling city to being in lockdown where you can't go out, restaurants are closed, everything is closed, you can't even see your friends, you have to pick one person from a different household to meet up with. It's hard. What if you're a really social, outgoing person? How do you deal with that? What if you're an extrovert? How do you deal with that? You know, what if people rely on other people for mental support? And you know, how do you carry on with that if you can't see each other? So it's hard. It's really hard. But I feel like everyone's on Zoom now. You can have birthday parties on Zoom. You know, you can go to drive-in cinemas. I think, you know, people are adjusting to it. There's support, there's helplines. You know, there's vulnerable people who obviously they're shielding, and they have to be at home, and you've got, you know, people who volunteer to go on like a shopping run for them, to do a grocery shop for them, to pick up the medicine for them. And I think that's amazing. And like, you've got people who appreciate the NHS, and you know, they clap, and I know that we deserve more than a clap. Maybe a pay rise would be lovely, for the nurses and the doctors that do all the hard work during this time. But there's support, and I'm happy to see that people are, you know, reaching out for each other. Every other day, you know, someone's putting up posts saying, you know, if you want to talk, I'm here. Like, this is a safe place. If you guys want to talk, I'm here. And that's so lovely. That's really lovely, and I'm happy to see that.
And I suppose you've been able to take the good that's come out of it, because you sound like you have quite a positive outlook on things and how they've gone at the moment. But I know that you're also working during this lockdown, right? So tell me more about your job. But I know also you're not just a young woman who works. I want to give you that time to talk about everything else you do outside it, because you were telling me the list. You were just running it through. So tell me more.
Well, I'm kind of jealous of my friends that are on furlough because they get to work from the comfort of their home. But I'm working every day. I have been ever since the first lockdown. I'm a secretary for the NHS. So the first lockdown was like hell. It was literally hell. Who was I? Like, I don't think I know who I was at that time. I was just running around, just doing stuff at work. It's just, it was a bit crazy, and being in contact, being near contact with people who are going through COVID, and people who are being symptomatic, and people who are supposed to isolate and things like that. Like, you just don't know. Like, you don't know how you can catch it. You don't know what could happen to you. You don't know what could happen to your friend or your colleague. It was scary. It was scary. And my best friend, she's shielding, so I wasn't able to see her. So I'm just like, but it was super crazy. I feel like everybody that was working throughout COVID, they didn't have the time to process what was happening. We were going at 100 miles per hour, just getting on with it because we had to. When things calmed down and the lockdown ceased and we had the whole Eat Out to Help Out scheme going on, I think that's when I processed it. And I think I have like mild PTSD now.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, because we started to come down and we were like, oh my gosh, like, we've been doing this for like 3 months, just day in, day out.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I've lost a lot of weight from it, mate. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't stopped working. It's kind of, I'm used to it now, I guess. It's been going on for what, the whole year almost?
Yeah.
This whole thing. So I guess people have just adjusted to it. We're used to it now.
And I know
new way of
it's
life
really tested people's mental health, and a lot of people, suicide rates have, people feeling suicidal has gone up. What are you doing to ensure your mental health, I suppose, stays somewhat stable as best as it can during this period?
So I'm working out more than ever. I don't know, it's stressful. I'm not gonna lie. This whole period that we're going through. So I just like to go for long runs in the park. Like long runs with my friends. Anyone who's nearby to me, we just go for a jog. We do a catch up during our jog. We'll do some ab workouts, and we'll just like fantasize about the body we're gonna have when this is all over, just to keep us going.
Yeah.
But like, me and my friends will literally be running in the park for 2 hours, because that's literally the amount of stress that we have to get off our body. But yeah, I've been working out. I've been writing a lot. I write poetry. I'm a bit of a poet, so I've been doing that and just using my poetry as an outlet to kind of like empty myself of the emotions that I'm feeling. Yeah, it's stress relieving. I've been cooking. I've been meal planning, because I'm at work the whole day, and I have time to like sometimes I can't even leave my workplace because of everything. So I just meal plan, and then I don't have to think about anything else during lunchtime. But yeah.
So before I ask you another question about food, I want to go back to one of your points. So one of your points, you were talking about mental health and how you're dealing with it. But you also said you write poetry. And I know your poetry is probably something really personal to you. What inspires your poetry? I'd love to
know. Depression. Okay. I would say depression, aggression, a little bit of anger, trauma, growing up, years of trauma as people go through. I've just dealt with depression on and off for a good couple of years. I would say about 7 years, good 7 years. Me writing helps me get everything out of my head onto paper. and it just helps me channel everything that I'm feeling into my notebook, so I'm not around people that I care about and giving them that energy. Because what I feel when I'm depressed is not a good feeling. It's a lot of bottled up emotions coming out all at once. It's sadness, it's you know, random bursts of like irritation and things like that. And for me, the way I've dealt with it is getting it all on paper. Sometimes I do voice notes of what I'm feeling, get it all out there, and then I close the book and I'll close my phone, and then I can just, you know, I've emptied myself. So I'm not cutting anyone else with my, you know, trauma. So that's how I like to use, you know, that's what inspires my poetry, I guess. That's how it started.
And before lockdown, were you performing as well? And just how important was it to be able to perform poetry compared to now, where not many people can perform poetry in person? A lot of people have had to do it via Zoom, as we spoke about.
Yeah, I was performing a lot, actually. I had a friend who held monthly events where you could come and sing, speak, do spoken word, do poetry. It was a monthly thing, and that stopped. And then some of my other friends who are artists and they also do poetry, I joined them in performing. And I actually performed just before we went into this lockdown. Okay. So I feel like it was just like, like I released myself, you know? But yeah, I performed a lot. It was really good.
So you've won pageants before. You work for the NHS by day, you know, you do poetry. But on top of that, you've told me you're also an eyebrow technician, and you also make vegan milk chocolate. Explain both of those to me a little bit more, and why vegan milk chocolate? Because I was saying to you, I love dark chocolate, and I suppose I like dark chocolate because of the antioxidants. But you said you've been vegan for what, like 8 years, and you're sick and tired of just dark chocolate. You wanted to add something new. So the entrepreneur in you came out.
Yes. So the thing is, I've always been an eyebrow technician. I've recently just gotten accreditation to be an eyebrow technician so I can work on other people. But I've always, the girls in my family, my sister, my cousins, my aunties, anytime we were together, it was like, oh, can you just like pluck a little bit? Can you just clean me up? Can you just give me a new swoop? Like, can you do something? So, you know, or like they'll be like, okay, so it's, you know, it's been a month, I need a good reshape, whatever, you know. So I was always into it, and I do my own eyebrows. So I just thought to myself, why don't I just make a thing out of it, and I can see my friends, I can do my family's brows, and you know, I can carry on but with accreditation and take on actual clients and things like that. So I thought, why not? I mean, I don't do much with my day.
So you've built up all these different skills, but then on top of that, as we said, you do vegan chocolate on top of that. So tell me more about that as well.
So my vegan chocolate aspiration has been in the works for years, because I've always had dark chocolate. Ever since I became vegan, it's been dark chocolate for me, as it is for most vegans. It's lovely, it's nice, but I'm a massive chocolate person. Like, as a kid, I loved all the big chocolate brands, right? And I can no longer have that because I'm a strict vegan. I'm very, very strict with what I eat in terms of veganism. And I'm sick of dark chocolate, man. I'm sick of it. It's as a long reigning vegan, it's just, it doesn't do it for me anymore. And there's not many other brands that are vegan that don't do dark chocolate. You'd probably in the UK find under 5 brands that do vegan milk chocolate. So I'm just like, oh my God.
Ombar, you had Ombars?
I have had Ombar.
That's the only one I really like personally.
I like Vigo.
Okay. That one's like the Nutella of the vegan.
Yes, it's very hazelnutty. I like Vigo, and there's another one that recently just came out. It's called Nomo. Yes.
I
Nomo.
know. Yes, I've heard of it. They got a green one, a blue one, and a red one.
Yeah. I like the sea salt one. I think it's the green one.
I think so.
Yeah. It's nice. So I'm having all the these chocolates that are not dark chocolate. I'm just like, why don't I just make my own? Why don't I just make my own? If there's anybody out there who's, I don't know if I don't think anyone's had as much chocolate as I have eaten in my lifetime. So I'm just like, if there's anyone out there who can make some vegan chocolate and make it vegan milk chocolate, then I think it could be me.
And then, so you made that chocolate.
Yeah, I make it like myself with cacao and peanut butter and,
and that's an arduous task in itself. That's not easy on top of everything else you're doing. But then being vegan in itself is a huge commitment. You've been vegan for 8 years, and you said being vegan is it's almost central to your identity. Why did you choose to go vegan, and what was life like before being vegan?
You know what? There's many reasons. I would say the very first sign of me leading up to my point now, the very first sign would have to be when I was 5 and I saw a cow getting slaughtered just right there in front of my eyes. And I've always been animal friendly. I was always in the garden playing with ladybirds and being that weird kid that had like ants crawling up her and things like that. And I've always been a cat person, a dog person. I'm just like animals,
Yeah.
And then I just see this cow getting slaughtered, and I'm just like, for the Eid festival, right? And I'm like, really, guys, there's nothing else to eat, like really. I was quite shocked because I'm a tiny person at 5 years old. I'm a tiny little thing, and there's big cow, and there's like blood everywhere. And it was just like, no, I'm sorry. That was my first inkling. That was that first seed that was planted in my head from that incident. And then from then on, I was just like, I kind of don't want to eat like all this stuff. But I was so young, I couldn't differentiate. Like, I don't know, decorate chicken with like breadcrumbs and, make it look colorful and, have a Happy Meal. It's okay. It's okay because you're not seeing the bloodshed. So, I was a kid and my mum would like disguise the food, and it was Happy Meals and really like interesting looking foods that don't have a face. So it was fine. But as I grew older, it kind of grew with me, and I was like, I'm not comfortable. I have to do something about this. I'm a vegetarian. Was vegetarian for a while, and became a bit lactose intolerant. And then I was like, okay, let me actually research this thing. And I found out about pescatarians, vegetarians, breatharians.
I've heard of breatharians, yeah.
Just, a lot of different categories. And I was like, okay, so this is the one I fall into, and it's called veganism. And then I was like, do I have to like make soy burgers by myself? So, for a while I was kneading out like soy burgers and like vegan like chicken burgers, and now we have it everywhere. And yeah, so that happened. And I was like, okay, so I'm a vegan, so that's what I am. I don't have a condition where I can no longer eat meat. It's a preference, it's a thing. It's a very strong preference that I have.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I'm a vegan. And back then, the vegan society was not like this.
Yeah.
The way it is now, it's booming. It's a positive thing. Back then it was just like, what's that? Like, are you sick? What's vegan? What is that? So, and it was just always like, oh, so can you eat fish? You can't, like, there would always be butter, cow butter in my food. So I couldn't eat anyone else's food because they didn't know about it. They didn't have that knowledge that you would have now.
Yeah.
So back then, about 8-10 years ago, being vegan was hard. There wasn't as many options as we have now, but definitely got easier. But that was my journey. And then along the years, it became more humanitarian reasons. So me reducing my carbon footprint, not wasting livestock by choosing to cut out meat, and health is a big factor as well. I like to work out a lot. I like to take care of my physical. So by me cutting out meat and dairy, those are things that make you stagnant. It makes your body feel stagnant. And I've just performed better when I'm exercising on a plant-based diet. And I feel better. I don't look as old as I am. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel good. I feel better. I feel cleaner. I have so much more energy. Yeah.
Okay. And so you went vegan, and then you also said to me that you used to make YouTube videos. So tell me more about that. I suppose you've had the influencer slash YouTuber lifestyle added to your roster of growing talents too.
Well, most of my videos, all of my videos are like to do with veganism. So if I go to a vegan event, like we had this event called Vegan Nights in
I used to
Shoreditch.
like vegan nights.
Vegan Nights, let me tell you, Vegan Nights really brought everybody together.
Yeah.
And they kind of just, like, London they helped make it boom, right? So every month I was there. I was eating everyone's chicken. I was eating everyone's vegan steak. I was eating like the cupcakes and sugarcane juice. I was there. That was my home.
Yeah.
So I would showcase it, and I would show everybody on YouTube, like, guys, this is what's happening in London. This is what's popping. This is what we have. This, like, you cannot beat the vegan society. We will outrun you with our plants, you know? So yeah.
Because I was reading statistics that showed that in the last 10 years, veganism has grown by like 360%. It's absolutely gone crazy. And I think it's because people ethically, morally, they no longer agree with factory farming. There's so much, there's so many reasons as to why being vegan is easier now than it's ever been. So if you could, let's say there's someone who wants to reduce, the amount of meat consumption they have in their diet, or let's say they want to go completely vegan, what advice would you give them from your own experience? Because you did it 8 years. You did it before it was cool, before it was trending, before all these companies started coming out, before the Beyond Meat burger was here, all of that. What advice would you give people?
So if you want to go vegan, you want to go vegan fast.
Let's say fast or slow,
yeah?
intermediate. Give us advice for it all.
What is the thing that is in everyone's foods? Like, you put butter in people put butter in everything. Your milk, replace your butter with vegan butter. Replace your milk with plant milk, oat milk, rice milk, hemp milk, any of those. Replace your sausages. There's vegan sausages. There's vegan country pie. You go to Tesco, you go to Sainsbury's, it's there. They have sections. They just have sections that says plant-based and vegan. Just go in there and you can close your eyes and pick out anything. You'll be fine. There's frozen. Replace all your frozen foods with vegan frozen foods. Oil is fine. Egg might be a struggle for some people. We do have vegan egg, but
expensive.
It's expensive and hard to get the consistency of a real egg. So that would be a struggle, but we can work on that in, over time. Over time, we can work on cutting out eggs. But that's what I would say. Butter, your frozen meat, your milk. What else? What else is there that people eat every day? I mean, you can have oatmeal. You don't have to have bacon. We've got vegan bacon if you want bacon and like a full English breakfast. We have vegan everything. There's absolutely nothing that we don't have. We've got a vegan fish. There's vegan fish. So there's vegan tuna as well, actually.
I actually was about to say that I have vegan tuna that I haven't tried.
And it's good. I've had vegan tuna, it's good. There's vegan salmon. I actually had vegan salmon scallops in linguine.
Scallops, that would have been made out of king oyster mushrooms, probably, right?
Yes. Yeah, made out of mushrooms. I had vegan scallops just before this lockdown happened. So there's absolutely, like, if you go to any supermarket, you can find your essentials as a vegan alternative. There's no, the hardest thing would probably be your internal, how your brain saying no the first couple of weeks / months, because you've been eating meat, you've been eating poultry, chicken, fish, whatever, you've been eating that your whole life, and now you're trying to do a whole 180. So of course it's going to be hard. Your body is going to purge, your brain, you're going to feel weird, but if that's what you want to choose, it is very doable. It's very doable, especially now in 2020. Like, things are accidentally vegan. Some of your favorite like biscuits or whatever are accidentally vegan. You know, so it's definitely a doable thing.
It's so interesting to hear you speak so passionately about it, because you've done it for so long, and evidently you're someone who cares about your moral and ethical choices and how you impact the world and how the world will be after, when we're gone, for example. And I'm sure that translates into the rest of the contest too, because we spoke about your beauty of a purpose. So I know all you contestants have to do something in accordance to that. Could you tell me more about what beauty of a purpose is and what was your one?
So my beauty of a purpose is my friend's charity. It's called Out for You, and what they do is that they host charity events to raise money for kids in Ghana, so that they could go to school, they could have clothes, water, food, and all the necessities that we would have, or our kids would have in this country. So they don't typically like to fundraise, or they don't have a GoFundMe page like most charities do. They just hold events at like schools or like a football match and things like that to raise money. It's more fun that way and more engaging. So that's what they do, and I've decided to get involved because it's personal to me. They're my friends, and you know, they're helping out little kids who deserve the same chances as everybody else.
Absolutely.
in life. Yeah, they Absolutely. There's absolutely no reason why they should go without, just because they're in a third world country. So yeah.
So I know that's something that's really personal to you, and you also shared a really personal story with me that I'm really appreciative of. So would you like to go into more detail about that, explaining where you were in that particular situation compared to where you are now?
Sorry, can you just say that again?
Could you explain where you were previously when you were talking to me about what's happened during the lockdown? You made a really big decision in your life. And so basically what I'm asking you is, how did you feel before making that decision? And how do you feel now having made that decision?
You know what? This year has been the funniest year. For me, I guess for everyone too, it's just been such a funny year. So many things have happened. My life has completely done a 180 on me. My whole life changed. You know, like, I don't know, I would say growing up, there was always some sort of domestic violence in my family that existed. And I guess when you keep yourself to yourself, you don't see it every day. You might see it like every now and then. There might be an incident, and then things quieten down again, and you get on with your life, you go to work, you go to school, whatever. I don't know, this lockdown, I guess it kind of showed me things in my life that I needed to change, and the truth kind of revealed itself to the surface. Any underlying issues that I had in my life kind of came to the surface, and one of those things were just accepting physical violence from people in my life that are supposed to love me, and people in my life that I care about. And something happened to me, and it was, I swear to God, like, I just said to myself, this is the last time that I want to get beaten up. Like, this is the last time that I want someone to raise their hand on me, and this is the last time that I want to be flipped like against the wall. Like, it's the last time. And I'm a very small person, so if you were to use force, it would really hurt, you know. So I just got sick of it. I was like, you know what, this is not healthy. I guess when you see something happen a lot, it's normalized, and nobody wants to speak about it, because it's just not a topic anyone wants to bring up when you're having dinner with your family. You know, it's just not a pleasant thing. So I had to do the honor and bring it up, and I was like, you know what, this is rubbish. This is not worth my time, my energy, anyone's energy. This is not worth anyone's life. So I had to leave my family home, just to escape a domestic situation, and that was the only option I saw, because I went over it in my head, you know, like, people are in abusive relationships, people are in abusive families, based on cultural values that are outdated, you know. So it's not okay, it's not cool, and someone had to say it, and I did. And that resulted in me leaving. And I remember just getting up, and I was like, you know what, like, when I got up off the floor, I was like, I quit. I quit this family, I quit this life that we're meant to live, where the girls don't amount to much, we don't do much, we just stay at home, we're not motivated to build a skills base, to find our passion. Everyone has a passion, I don't care what anyone says, everyone has something that they like to do, that they have an interest in, right? We don't get to explore that because we get groomed to be quiet, to be a wife, to just not do much, you know. It's not fun, and it's boring. It's boring. I can't, you know, I can't imagine my life 20 years on from now, and I don't do stuff that make me happy. I just live a very grey life where I don't know who I am. Because when your parents don't help you explore your passions and your interests from a young age, you grow up to live a very bleak life. And I've seen it, and I don't support that. So I had to say no, and I had to say stop. And that resulted in me leaving a big chunk of my family behind in my life, and I chose to leave. So I kind of, I guess in that moment when I turned my back on, like, my family, I guess I did it because I had to choose who I wanted to be in 10, 15, 20 years time. I had to choose that girl because, I don't know, it's something innate inside me says that I'm gonna do something in this world, right? I don't know what it's gonna be, but like I said, I'm a force, so I have been told. I had to choose somebody that was gonna be more in 10 years time than this girl that I am now, and the girl that I've been in the last 10 years, where I just kind of accept these incidents and I just brush it underneath the carpet. That's me doing injustice to myself and so many other girls out there, so many other Asian guys out there who go through the same thing. I mean, I've heard it so many times, you know, parents beating up their children in an Asian household. Forced marriages still happen in an Asian household. Girls still get, you know, bullied by their brothers in an Asian household. It happens, and I was just sick of it, and it was the last straw for me. So I just literally did a 180 on my life. I left, and I was still going to work, and I was trying to get all my affairs in order, and I did, and I feel so liberated. I feel liberated. I guess when you say something like I had to leave my family behind, people kind of think that your family is your rock. They are always there for you. Friends leave, partners leave, you change jobs, but your family are always there throughout anything that happens in your life, right? Why would you do that? But when if your family or someone in your life is toxic, you're supposed to cut that person out. You know, you have to sometimes go against the grain, and you have to do what's best for you. And I thought about this in a million different ways, and this is the only option that I came to. So this is what happened.
And with you facing the injustices that you faced in your family life, unfortunately, how were you able to turn your life from that 180 to another 180, so you're at 360 now. How are you then able to perform justice for yourself and to do what was good for you? Because not everyone that comes out of those situations would have been able to deal with that. How have you been able to deal with that?
I have a really good support network. My friends have been here for me. They've just been just lended their shoulder to me during these times, because I'm not an emotional person. I'm very like, I see things as it is, and if it doesn't fit my narrative or my bigger picture or the bigger picture, then out with it, onto the next thing. That's how I've always been. So this is the first time in my life I just felt subjected to a bit of emotion, like some deep emotion, because my life is not going to be the same anymore. I'm not going to see the people I've been seeing for the last 24 years. So they've been a very good support network for me, and I've met so many other girls who've been through the same thing. So I'm just like, I'm not alone. I read stories about this all the time online. I meet people. I watch TEDx talks about women being abused by their husbands and things like that, and on similar levels to what I've been through in terms of like domestic situations. So I don't feel alone. I think that's what helped. And I don't know. I have so much in my life that I want to do. I don't have time to be upset. Like, I've got a little sister and she looks up to me. I've got friends that confide in me. I don't have time to sit and moan and dwell, So I just have to, I've always just been the type of person to get up and just get on with it. It's okay. I think it's okay to cry for 5 minutes in a day. Have 5 minutes to kind of just like feel really in your feelings, but the rest of the day you have to be a gangster.
What is it? I saw a meme that said when you forget that you're a gangster, you give yourself like 5 minutes to cry, and I think that's what the meme actually said. You give yourself 5 minutes to cry,
Yeah, it's
and
okay.
then you go back to being a gangster.
Yeah, literally cry for 5 minutes and then back to being you. Because personally, like, given recent situations, this affected me massively, but it's just a thing that happened to me. It's not who I am.
Yes.
I have always been like this, the energy that I'm giving out to you right now. I've always been this girl. This situation that happened this year is just a thing that happened to me. It doesn't define me, but it makes me better.
Amen.
It definitely has, from the get-go, it has improved my character, and that's why I am able to move past it, move through it, and just get on with my life.
And I know you said to me, through the experiences that you've been through, if you were to win Miss England, what would Moshida Khalifah do?
When you say it like that,
I'm asking you because I want to give power to your name, first of all.
Thank you. The first thing that just takes over my brain right now is a women's sanctuary. I would build a women's sanctuary where people who didn't feel safe can feel safe. You can be however old, it doesn't matter. You can come here and it will be a safe space for you, and we can talk about things. We can put a plan in place for you to restart your life. We can build a skills base for these women, and we can start your life all over again. Especially because I've been through it. I've got friends that are still going through it, which is crazy, so it would just help. It would help people who secretly cry and go through it alone and don't want to mention it. So a women's sanctuary is number one on the list for me.
And then with that women's sanctuary, I obviously haven't been through certain experiences, so I guess I can't fully understand, but it makes me sad whenever I hear that. But you also spoke about men have faced some of the issues that you have faced, and in some aspects the kind of homes. So what is that like to be able to provide a safe space for both men and women from domestic abuse?
You know what? I would say women definitely go through it. Women definitely go through it, but I've heard of men going through it too. If you're in a relationship, it's not just a woman who can be abused. Men get it too, right? It can come from either end. So I've got male friends who've literally been used and abused by their family. It of course it's not okay. So it's important for them to be included too. But it's like, I do want to focus on the women as well. I do want to, because we're supposed, like, our family, the men in your family or your partner, if you know, whoever you're with, they're supposed to protect you.
Yeah.
They're supposed to care about you, and you don't feel, as a woman, I don't feel protected. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. I don't feel protected. I don't feel cared about. And that when you feel that, a lot of women can get into a lot of dangerous situations in their life when they feel that they can, you know, exploit themselves, or they can just go a really bad way. Some people don't even make it to the next year in their life just by feeling those things. So it's a dangerous thing to feel.
Absolutely. I want to ask you, you've spoken a lot about everything that you do and the things you would like to do in the future. And I want to ask you now to, I suppose in some instances, predict or envision your future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, and how do you see yourself getting there?
In 5 years' time, this is gonna sound so crazy, but I'll have a few empires based on what I'm doing now. Yes.
Okay.
So the way I see it is, you know, the things I've mentioned with my chocolate brand, my brow stuff. I see it just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. The world grows, veganism grows, my brand grows. The beauty industry will never cease. Like, it will always exist. So I grow. I will never stop helping other people that have been through what I've been through. So girls are gonna stand up for themselves, and they're gonna see their worth, and I'm gonna help as much as I can, and I'll be a role model if they need me to be. So I see where I am now, but more, bigger, better, bigger, more. So yeah.
I can absolutely see that. And then another one of my last questions too, I ask everybody this question because it's a hypothetical question.
Okay.
If you had a magic wand, what would you change about the world and how would you change it?
If I had a magic wand, I would take away entitlement.
Oh, so
take away entitlement and racism, speciesism, oppression, crime. I would literally just make it a fairy tale world.
Okay.
Make it a fairy. I mean, I could make it a fairy tale world, but everything has to have a balance. So,
Yeah.
You know, some people will still do crime because people are people, and we will just be as just as we can be to the max. We will literally impose justice at its finest. Teachers and nurses would get paid their worth, and they would get paid the way they teach the way they stretch young minds, and the hours they spend marking people's homework and inspiring young kids and literally filling up their bucket of confidence and self-esteem. They would get paid their worth for doing that. They'd be, I don't know, they'd be just real things in place for people who suffer from mental health. There wouldn't be greed, and we wouldn't have money in paper. We wouldn't have money as a currency. Our currency would be kindness and respect, so that everyone would be on the same level. If you wanted to be kind and respectful, you know, people in third world countries wouldn't suffer because they don't have like money in a paper value, in a, you know, as paper. So they would be kind and respectful as I've seen, and they would be rich, because money doesn't make you internally happy. You know, when you have money and it runs out, you might not be able to do all the things that you do with it that makes you happy, you know. But when you have a friend who is kind, loving, respectful, inspiring, amazing, gracious, that's happiness, and that is the real riches. So that is what I will do with my magic wand. I will take away entitlement from people, and I will take away racism that exists so much that people just pretend that they're not racist anymore. So I would do that. I would take away speciesism, so people don't eat, they don't eat chicken as much as they wouldn't eat a rat. You know. So yeah,
true, because different cultures eat different foods, and I believe those goals are absolutely admirable. The world is a very interesting place at the moment, and I would like to think that humans have got better as time has gone along. I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and when I think about entitlement, I think it all comes back to the ego. And some people say ego it drives everything that's negative and fearful about the world. So whether it's going to be in our lifetime or another lifetime, I'm not too sure. But I have to say thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. And it would absolutely be fantastic to keep in contact with someone like yourself. Positive, good vibrations. We've spoken about so much that people will be able to take away from, and you're sharing your own personal story, which is something that's actually never really easy. The fact you've been able to share it means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to yourself. And I said this before, that when you talk about your stories, it takes away a little bit of the burden that we have on ourselves. So I definitely have to say thank you.
Thank you for having me. I would love to do a TEDx talk on some of the topics that we've gone over. So
Definitely.
on the list.
Definitely.
On the list of many things.
You've got these goals and these aims, and I genuinely believe you will achieve it.
Thank you.
So I'll link everything in terms of your bio, how to vote for you, your socials, anything else you want me to link in. I'll be able to do that, and I'll happily do that for you as well. So everybody that's going to watch this can vote for you. So yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.